So, if dirty tricks are the way we seek to manipulate others, and how do we gain control of that area of our life so that we can live well? Well, we've asked a real expert to come and help us. So please welcome the Right Honourable Sir Jeremy Smythe, MP and author of his best-selling exposés, Where the Other Candidates Went Wrong, some more of the other candidates' greatest mistakes, and who are those other candidates anyway? Would you welcome Sir Jeremy?
How do you do? Thank you very much. Now, I've been invited here today to expand upon a chapter in my book, The 5 Election Languages, specifically the chapter on dirty tricks. Well, I call them dirty tricks. You may refer to them as something else. You might, for example, call them smear campaigns, or libel, slander, defamation, skullduggery, backstabbing, mudslinging, muckraking, or just plain good old-fashioned misinformation. Well, whatever you call it, the most important thing is you absolutely must get your dirty trick in first before your opponent does. Take the offensive. This is because if your opponent plays a dirty trick on you first, this puts you on the defensive. And that will make your counter trick look very much like what we in the business call tit for tat. So it's essential that you get your dirty trick in first to appear credible. So, what sort of dirty tricks can we defend ourselves with? There are 6. First of all, we can simply refer to our opponent with negative adjectives. The intention here is to alter the lens through which the electorate will view them. For example, rather than referring to your opponent as simply a candidate, you might instead prefer to refer to them as a so-called candidate. You see what I've done there? What I've done is I've simply taken the fact of their candidacy, which everyone already agrees with, and subtly embedded a negative opinion about it. With any luck, this will be swallowed by the listener like a Trojan horse, and maybe even regurgitated again like a Trojan parrot. You may alternatively call them an unlikely candidate, or a desperate candidate, or even a young hopeful. 2, be selective with the truth. If your opponent has made 10 decisions, 9 of them good, and just 1 of them bad, pick the one that is unpopular. If the only thing your voters know about your opponent is this one mistake they have made, then most of them will extrapolate their entire perception of your opponent from this one mistake. They will then assume that he or she probably makes bad decisions in other areas as well. However, in the event that your opponent is well known for a particularly popular decision, then the thing to do is to exploit the ways in which that could get abused. For example, building a new train station might sound, on the face of it, like a good idea. But hang on, train stations attract beggars. Train stations attract vandals. Train stations attract teenage binge drinkers, drugs pushers, and terrorists. Get rid of the train station and you get rid of all these problems. This brings me on to point 3. Keep your argument simple. No matter how complex the issue under discussion, make sure you polarize it into just 2 sides, the right way and the wrong way. Now, obviously, your way is the only right way, which makes your opponent's way the bad way. 3 opposing solutions do not make for a snappy headline, so the media will help you with this. 4, exaggeration. Having identified your opponent's weak spot, blow it out of all proportion. One popular way of doing this is to employ the tried and tested straw man argument. For example, I can't believe they want to close down this school. Next thing, they'll be wanting to close down all the other schools in the country. And then where will we be? Think of the children! You can alternatively replace their argument with an analogy of your own, and then proceed to knock down the analogy rather than the original argument. Again, analogies involving well-loved subjects, such as pies, children, and your mother, are particularly memorable and therefore very, very effective. I can't believe they want to pull down this beautiful building. It's a work of art. Who in their right mind would destroy a Picasso? 5. Be gracious. Don't demonize them. Tempting as it always is to compare their draconianism to that of Nazi Germany, too many people before you have already used this technique. It doesn't work anymore. Be seen to be bigger than that. In fact, concede that something minor about your opponent is impressive in order to maintain the impression of fairness and even-handedness. Remember, you want to sound like a friend, not a blogger. 6. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The thing about any lie is the more times that it gets said, the more people will sagely nod in recollection of having heard it earlier and agree with you. For further credibility, always make sure that you are well groomed in public. So, until next time, remember, fight dirty and fight often. Good night.